Yes, boss. Let's do it. Not everyone should have access to you. This is amazing, right? So this is like a spin-off from the last video I did on Monday about you cannot pour from an empty cup. And the reason how I came about that is this, right? If you're a person who, and understand, pouring from an empty cup is giving when you don't have to give. Taking from yourself to give to others. Leaving yourself last, right? Which led me into not everybody should have access to you, because you have to understand that there are some people in the world, they're looking for a come up. Well, a lot of people are. You feel me? So you'll have some people who will try to study you, learn you. What's your situation like? So that way they can see what they can probably extract from you, play up underneath you, whatever the case may be. And I'm going to tell you something as a golden rule as an empath that I've learned, right? In life, there are people out here who will try to study you to use you, but at the same time, people will try their hardest to learn your situation for a reason. Because if people can learn you, people can see how they can try to what? Manipulate you. So example, and remember as I stated to you before in earlier videos, in order for somebody to manipulate you and be successful at it, they have to find out where you're weak at. You need friends? I'll play like I'm your friend. You don't have anybody to love you? Guess what? I'm here for you. You don't have anybody around you that's really caring, that'll go to bat for you? Guess what? You got yourself a soldier now. There are people who will play all types of games to get in with you. That's why I said not everyone should have access to you. And when people have access to you, that's like basically saying they have the ins. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to be like, have the ins to be like in your game room. You never let anybody in your game room. But what I'm saying is, not everybody should have access to you because of the spirit that certain people carry and the agendas that certain people have up their sleeve. You feel me? So let me explain that to you. Now, when I said people shouldn't have access to you, certain people carry a spirit as to where they're draining. They have like this dark cloud over their head. It's like people have like bad luck on them or things aren't working out for you. Sometimes people will try and bring that into your life. Sometimes people will try to rain on your parade. Sometimes people will badmine you, pray over you, as in like a downfall for you. So guess what? They would have the upper hand, or they're not the only one in a stuck, broken situation. So you have to recognize certain things and certain patterns. Anybody that you call your friend, they should be somebody of value. Somebody, I'm not saying you have friends that, hey, you better be of benefit to me. No. What I'm saying is, have some form of a common ground. Have some form of a common understanding. If you know you're out here working hard or whatever, you can't be out here lingering and hanging around bums all day long. You're just going to probably be what? The next bum. I'm not saying you can't hang with different types of people, but know who it is that you're dealing with. Even though it's hard to kind of say that, understand what you're dealing with. So I'm going to give you an example into that. If you know you have a friend who likes to party all day long, that's a friend that you can chalk up, you like to party. You have a friend that, yo, we have business going, or we can talk business or plot and strategize, bounce ideas off each other. That's a good friend to have in your corner. You have to learn how to categorize and know who it is you have as your friends, so certain things don't mix and you don't end up in a sticky predicament. So meaning, if you know you have a friend who, yo, they're wild and hot-headed, you cannot be having them at certain events where you know that this is very important. I'm meeting some very prestigious people today, or this is a prominent situation for me. I cannot mess this up. You have to be very careful of who you have around you. Damn near leery, because the wrong people you have around you, or the certain type of people that you have around you, that can cost you in numerous ways. It could cost you, as I stated, opportunities. It can cost you friendship. It can cost you relationships. There are some people who, as I stated, they do have that spirit on them where they will try their hardest to get around you and see what your situation is like. Learning you, studying you. How can I take from this person? How can I copy? Sometimes you got to understand, in the world we live in, some people aren't that willing to go ahead and ask questions. Some people rather be sneaky and underhanded with the things that they want in life in order to obtain or move to the next level, if that makes sense as well. So let's look at looking into as I stated before about pouring from an empty cup, right? If people see that you're an empathic type of a person or you're a caring person, people will try to get the ends with you, i.e., getting access to you so they can get those same type of privileges and benefits. So that's where certain people can get a blessing who rightfully never deserved it. So let's say a person has been known to do shiesty things their whole life or whatever the case may be. They should probably be in a state of karma, but if they have certain people around them who have good luck or like a good energy or a good vibe to them or whatever the case may be, they can try and ride off of that as a form of a protection so they don't have to really face their karma in a harsh way. Because mind you, sometimes who you have around you, they can take up whatever it is that you have going on. You feel me? So if you're a person who all day long you have this negativity about you, if people are positive and known to stay in a happy, joyous type of a spirit, and you come around bringing your negativity or your Debbie Downer attitude or whatever the case may be, that can sort of start to rub off on people. So that's why you have to be careful who you give access to. Because as well as that, right? Let's say you gave access to somebody and this was the wrong individual, right? As in somebody who they did more than just study you. They tried to wreck your situation or leave you stuck or bring you back to square one. You have to understand that there are people like that. So understanding human nature is going to help you out in this as well, because you have to understand that there are some people in the world that are very bitter and very miserable. To see somebody else that is happy and thriving in life and it seems so effortless, or the little that they have, they know how to make it work, or they're just happy with it. Some people, that drives them up the wall, because some people, they cannot get off or get their happiness like that. Some people, they get their happiness by screwing somebody over. Some people, they get their happiness by seeing how they can just, as I stated, screwing somebody over, snaking somebody to the top, snaking their way to the top, being a weasel, being underhanded, whatever the case may be. But there's different types of people in the world. So some people, they can be happy with the little things. There's some people, they need all the riches, all the money, the glamorous lifestyle. Even though they may not have a work ethic to rightfully match it, there are people who are willing to go that far. So understanding that allowing access to you is very important. That's how you're able to move forward in life. Because as I stated before, there are some people that will bring their bad spirit around you. Some people that would bring things like that you have going on, like a gravy train, to like a stopping halt, like easily. Yo, you have this problem, let me instigate this problem. Or I'm learning your situation, these are your issues, let me add on to your issues. There are people who move like this. And if you're that empathic, listen to what I'm telling you, as to where you're not picking up on the signs, or you're so caring that you're not seeing what a person is doing to you, you'll fall for the game. And when you get into a state of being broken, or I wouldn't say necessarily you've lost your way, but you're back to like a state of having to rebuild, and it's due to having the wrong person around you, that can make you kind of look at yourself like, how was I not able to pick this up? I'm going to tell you what you missed. Sometimes we can turn a blinding eye to people if they can kind of resonate, match with somebody we probably know, or they have a familiar like spirit in a sort of a way, but you didn't fully look through who that person is. Example, their behavior, how they treat people around them, who they are when nobody's around. Are they a person who likes to gossip and chat about their friends? There's different ways that you have to look at the situation that can give you the answer what you're looking for. All I'm saying is, don't be oblivious to who you have around you, especially if you're a person who has something to lose. That's very important. That's like rule number one. Because here's the deal. In life, miserable people, misery loves company. These people are looking for company. They're looking for somebody to come and tag along in their misery train. You being happy, that drives miserable people up the wall. So I have to find a way how I could take that away from you. So that's why I stated to you. Comparison, I never said comparison is a thief of joy in this video. But people who are miserable, who probably want to get access to you, Once they get a chance for seeing who you are, how you live, they can start to compare their life as to where they can start to become jealous, envious towards you, see how they can out your fire, dim your light, whatever the case may be. You just have to be what? Aware. So signs you need to look for is people who are too inquisitive or too invested into your life. People who are heavily invested into your life, in my honest opinion, that's not good, bro. If it's not something that makes sense, like, oh, I'm heavily invested into my niece or my daughter's life or my son or whatever, that's completely different. To be invested into a complete, absolute stranger's life, you don't know them, you probably perceive them to be a certain kind of way, and then you find out you were wrong, their life is probably more lit than what it seemed to you, that can cause people to want to, oh, I gotta peek into this person a little bit more. Listen, people are fascinated by some things that they shouldn't be fascinated by. Example, let's say a person deemed in order for you to get far in life, you have to screw people over. Until they meet somebody who's genuine, who made it on their own, doing things in a rightful, upstanding way, that's going to make them want to peek into your life like, how did you do that? Or how is that possible? Or how are you able to do these types of things? That can cause people to want to gain access so they can peep a little bit closer, i.e. why some people ask questions. Yo, how did you get to this level? Or how did you get that car over there? Or how did you end up with this house? There are people who will let out certain things in questions. So you have to be very leery of that. People who want access to you sometimes are going to overplay or try too damn hard, bro. If you want to get around somebody, I'm not saying some people wouldn't want to try hard to get around certain people, but if you have to force a situation, then chances are it's probably not even meant to happen. You feel me? It's just like forcing a relationship, whether like friendship, dating wise, whatever. If you see that certain things aren't there, why force it? You feel me? Some people don't pick up on forceful gestures. Some people, they do and they don't say anything. But you have to understand something. For somebody to either want to ask you questions, be forceful into your life, that shows you that there's an agenda in that, right? As well as that, people who always want to try and, let's say, try and pop up or come around or just try and act like things are coincidence why they're around. Sometimes some people like to gain information about you, and I'll explain that as well. If you're a man, there are people, as I stated, they'll try and study you, gain information, same as a woman. So I could tell you an example about a man. Let's say you like thick females, right? Somebody could be like, yo, let me set up this girl to see if she could go around him so she can gain information and what? Feed it to me. There are people who play these games. When I tell you I have outside experience to seeing certain stuff and how far certain people go with their games, it's like, oh, I get it now. You gotta stay away from you. You definitely gotta stay away from you. I seen a new story today. You feel me? Some people go off of what they see face value. Not saying that that's wrong, but sometimes you really just have to understand and seize the moment. Live in the now. Understanding what's going on. What's happening right here, right now. Okay, you just asked me how I got my car. That should pop up as like a red flag for you. You feel me? Why is somebody prying into your business that much where they need to know certain shit? It's not like something that's beneficial for you in your life. You're just prying for information. Understand that there are people in life, they like to pry and gain and obtain information in whatever kind of way so they can have the upper hand, so they can let me see. All right, you know what? You don't have this, you don't have that. Let me see if I can play this game with you. That game work? This game work? All right, I think I figured you out. There are people who play games with people to study and understand them and forward a play, like as in, okay, this person likes these type of people. Let me see if I do this gesture if they'll think highly of me. Or if I do this, there are people who play all types of games. You just have to understand what game people are playing. You just have to be aware. You feel me? And understand that not everybody should have access to you. So with that being said, remember this. Words can help you, they can hurt you. But here on my channel, I'm going to uplift you because everybody's a champion. Nobody's a loser, man. So understanding that in life, human natures, the games that humans run, it goes very far. You just have to be the person that's aware and catch on. Yo, when you were broke, was people around you like that? Now that you're having it in life, why is everybody wanting to be around you? You get what I'm saying? Some people can smell success. Some people can see all types of stuff. You just have to be the person who knows how to step outside of yourself and look at yourself from like a third person view to see what's really going on. You feel me? 444 the world, man. Peace.